individual one on cycleways, which we have a lot of, but totally feel free to say whatever you want to on that. And then another one from the Victoria Neighbourhood Group. Do you want to run them together or have them separately?
No, I'll do them separately. They're quite similar,
fine.
but
that's fine.
I'll do them separately. They were written separately.
Okay, thank you. Where are
I'm
your
Bob
hands?
Monti. I live in the inner city on Gracefield Avenue, and my submission has to do with the proposed delay in the implementation of cycleways work. And I just want to applaud the plan that was previously presented. My reasons for opposing the extension of time on the cycleways program from 5 to 8 years include: 1, there have been several serious and fatal accidents involving vehicular traffic and cyclists in Christchurch recently. With constant road construction, consequent traffic delays, and driver impatience already at high levels, a lack of designated safe cycleways forces cyclists to compete with motorized vehicles for their share of the road in very unsafe circumstances. 2, clearly marked and well-planned cycleways would increase cycling safety and encourage more people to abandon their cars in favor of biking. Resulting spin-offs would be fewer cars on the road, reduced traffic jams, greater public acceptance of cycling as a legitimate form of transportation. 3, support for the immediate introduction of cycleways program has widespread popular appeal. It is not just an idea being pushed by a small group with a vested interest. For example, a cycleways idea was widely supported in the Share an Idea campaign, and the Hagley-Fairmead board is on record as opposing the delay. 4, sustainability was a word that was frequently used in the early days of planning for the rebuild. It is seldom heard anymore, and delaying the implementation of the cycleways program could signal the Council's lack of commitment to a cleaner, greener, eco-friendly city. 5, in the rebuild, the cost of implementing the cycleways program is very modest indeed. It would be money well spent, and the positive effects would be felt by all segments of the population, cyclists and non-cyclists. Implementing a cycleways system as soon as possible would result in a broad range of cost-effective outcomes: less wear and tear on the road, less need for car parks, more space created in cities and suburbs, reduced commuting time for both cyclists and non-cyclists, that is, all traffic participants benefit, less air and noise pollution, reduced stress on commuters, lower impact on the environment, more business for shops since cyclists visit shops more often than drivers, and it is easier to combine cycling with other forms of public transportation, not so easy to do with cars and other forms of transport. In conclusion, I request that the original time frame for the implementation of the cycleway program be reinstated. Oh, that's good to hear. Right. Yep. Sure. The Victoria Neighbourhood Association submission, I'm a part of that group. Dave Kelly, the secretary, was going to be presenting this today, but he couldn't be here, so I'm here instead. 2 matters I want to comment on, they want to comment on, we want to comment on: cycleways and the Hospitality New Zealand's request for council money for more security staff. First, the Victoria Neighbourhood Group has existed since 1985 and works to support residential amenity in the area bounded by Beeley Ave, Park Terrace, Salisbury Street, and Colombo Street. There are about 90 members at present. The VNA discussed the draft annual plan at our regular meeting on the 31st of March, and we oppose the extension of time on major cycleways program from 5 to 8 years. Number 1, some of the actions required are obvious and can be initiated very quickly. For example, the Matai Street cycleway was built some years ago, but the required crossing of Deans Avenue near Christchurch Girls High was never constructed, leaving the cycleway stranded. That crossing would be an obvious early action, and there are a number of others. Some of the draft cycle routes have already been in planning for years, sometimes literally for decades. 2, it is important as the rebuild gathers pace to send long-term planning signals that this council is committed to cycleways. That will help people decide where they want to live, rebuild, etc., with knowledge of what transport options will be available. The risk is that any delay looks like the current council starting to slide on the commitment of the previous council to create these important cycleways. 3, The total sum of money is not great in transport terms. The total, spread over 5 years, is about the cost of the roof for a covered stadium. 4, the earlier the detailed planning gets underway, the more opportunity there is to incorporate cycleways around rebuilds, both for road construction, which is proceeding apace now, and for land acquisition for paths before buildings are replaced. 5, a greener city generally and better cycleways specifically were among the top 2 or 3 most repeated messages of the Share an Idea campaign. The VNA has always championed walking, cycling, and public transport as important for making the inner city more accessible and more pleasant to live in. We therefore request that the original time frame of 5 years be reinstated. B, the next topic, Hospitality New Zealand's request for council funding, $312,000 over 5 years for extra security staff to help control bar patrons, is outrageous. 1, unlike cycleways funding, which will benefit everyone, whether they cycle or not, this request is another example of the private sector asking for money to clean up the late-night mess their businesses make in the area. 2, the draft LAP recommends a 1 a.m. closing time for Victoria Street, recognizing that 3 a.m. closing in such a densely populated residential area is inappropriate. Bar owners, when seeking liquor licenses for new bars in the area, repeatedly denied there were problems for surrounding residents due to 3 a.m. closing. However, it is now clear that their request for extra security is an admission that there are major problems and ones they now want the council to pay for. I urge you to reject that application. Thank you. Thank you.